We'll call the Wisconsin Rapids Waterworks and Lighting Commission meeting to order. Approval of corrections to the minutes of the regular commission meeting held on June 12th, 2019.
I move for approval.
I'll second that.
Okay, John made the motion, Joe second. Any other corrections or additions? If not, all in agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, action items, cable reel storage.
Okay, what we're looking for here is our underground primary cable. We store it in the Butler building now, but it has to be stored in a certain, it has to be oriented in just the right way that it takes up about half of our building right now. So if we can stack it vertically, this system that we're recommending, the Wolter Group, stacks and you can move it around with a forklift. So we could change how we're storing it depending on the time of the year. Move it outside in the summer if we needed to, or put it back in the winter inside the building. So it'll free up probably half of our Butler building space right now. The other systems are all bolted down structurally, and they're going to take up darn near as much space, but we can't ever move it around as needs change.
And you can move it safely with the cables mounted in it?
Yeah, with a forklift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that why that system does not have any installation fee for it?
Correct.
Okay, and then it looks to me those reels are adjustable?
They fit different sizes of reels. We have like 3 sizes of reels. So the biggest one, that 48 to 72, will take a range up to 72. So yeah, we should be able to store everything in there.
And you're coming up with the same quantities as the other ones?
They're all a little bit different, depending on what fit in that footprint in the building of their system. That's the biggest thing with the structural thing is it's got to fit in the space we have.
So they all fit?
They all fit, yes. More or less depending on which system it is.
Do we have a forklift big enough to handle a reel cable
Yes.
with this unit? And
Yep. We need to get longer forks, that's all. Yeah.
And it looks like the Condor one wouldn't handle your 72-inch reels at all? Is that the way I read it?
They would. They sit, instead of horizontally, they sit vertically like on an axle. So they only need to have half of that distance, if that makes sense, you know. They will still accommodate the reel, but they accommodate a different orientation.
But your key choice here for paying the extra bucks is to have it so it's modular and relocatable.
Yep, definitely. I guess if it comes down to it, I would rather have less of the modular system that we can at least move. Space is a premium, is the big thing right now.
Do you have an estimated cost for the extended forks?
Yeah, they were only like $1,200, and we don't have to do it up front.
Okay.
Even for the modular system, even though it's a little more money, it's still well under the budget amount.
That was the other question. We're in budget.
50,000 we had budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would move to go with your recommendation, Josh, with Walter Group.
I'll second it.
John and John made the motion and second. Is there any other discussion? Any other questions? If not, all in agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 3.2 Metalco substation transformer.
So we went out for bids for the Metalco substation transformer. We only could get 3 manufacturers to quote the project just because of the manufacturing boom happening throughout the United States. The bids came in and Waukesha is actually the high bidder, but the other 2 bidders are out of Missouri and Mississippi, I believe, and neither one are companies that I'm familiar with. Even though they are lower cost, I do not feel comfortable purchasing this transformer from them. And Waukesha, we have 6 of our 14 existing transformers were purchased from them. Some of them are over 30 years old. We've never had any major issues with any of those units. I've taken a tour of the factory years ago, was very impressed by their manufacturing facility. And you know, not only in the 10 years that I've been here, but the 18 that I've been at the power company, at Consolidated Water Power Company, Waukesha was always the preferred transformer that we'd like to purchase. What makes this kind of more unique and why it's more important probably to go with the Waukesha unit is this is our first bay at this substation. So if you were to take a tour of any of our other 5 substations, I always have 2 transformers that can be sized so that if one fails, the other one can handle the all rest of the load. Now, eventually, maybe depending on how the load grows in the Buren area, we have the capacity to expand to a second bay at this substation, but right now we do not have that in place. So if this unit were to fail, we would be looking at a 32-week unit or a 32-week time frame to get a new one to replace it. Since this new customer is going to be our largest customer, and because it's, I think, a critical location, I'm recommending to go with the higher price unit that we know is a proven company that we can be confident in.
Is the work that ND is doing, is that going to impact us at all?
In fact, that all completed. So they did substation improvements. That was all completed last week, to my knowledge. So the only thing that that's going to do affecting us is actually benefit us, because the MJ contractor that's been installing all of the equipment for them is still on site. And so we'll probably be using them, and that will save us the mobility cost of having someone else do that work. So it's an advantage actually that they're also doing work in the substation.
The other 8 transformers, 6 of 14 are any of the other 8 from these other?
Nope. We've never purchased anything this size, a substation unit, from these companies. The Howard Company, we will buy some of the smaller distribution transformers, but you're talking nothing larger than probably 1,000 kVA, and this is 10,000 kVA, 11,000, so that's a huge difference in design.
And you don't have anything else this size?
So what makes this one unique compared to the rest in our fleet is this has 115 kV primary voltage, but a 13.2 kV secondary voltage. All of our other transformers are either 115 to 46 or 69 to 46, or then 46 to 13.2. So this cannot be interchanged with anything else we own, and that is because of this going at the Coyne substation, not in one of our existing 5 substations. So the voltages are going to be different at this location.
And that's a requirement of the Metalco?
The 13.2 is their secondary voltage requirement. The 115 is the ATC requirement at the sub. Yep.
Todd, are they going to have a device transformer on their property?
They are going to have 4 1500 kVA transformers inside the building, so that's a dry type transformer. That'll step their voltages from the 13.2 to the 480 that they're going to need.
And is that kind of the reason why they need this step down voltage?
Well, all of our distribution lines are 13.2, so that's not unusual. What's unusual is in all of our other locations, we actually go through 2 transformers to get to that 13.2 kV voltage. So we'll go from 115 to 46, and then another transformer 46 to 13.2. That isn't the case here. We don't have that kind of physical space, and we don't want to purchase 2 transformers. It'd be double the cost. So we're purchasing 1 transformer that goes from the 115 to the 13.2. It still allows us to tie in other pieces at 13.2. It'll match up with our existing distribution. It's just that it is a unique transformer compared to anything else we have in our 14 other locations.
Will there be a need to double up, like have redundancy of this transformer ever?
I don't think with this reliable unit that that's something that's going to be needed for quite a while. So like I said, I feel very comfortable that this unit will last somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 to 50 years. So.
As load growth happens in here.
Yeah, so when I dealt with ATC and then Quipco earlier last year, you know, we designed the new layout of the sub so that Water and Light would eventually be able to have the 2 bays. And the reason we did that was mainly for load growth, which we do anticipate in the Buren area. So that's why it's there. And then once that does happen, I think it will happen, just a matter of when, then you'll have that redundancy with the 2 transformers in parallel.
And if I understand this right, Telco is paying for half, or
Yeah.
roughly half?
Yeah, so they're, from an engineering standpoint, their load is anticipated at 5 MVA. From an engineering standpoint, that would require a 10 MVA unit. This is on the top end, an 18 MVA unit, and so that's where the money kind of falls into play, where $350,000 is going to be their cost, but there is that extra capacity and that we're not making them pay for, so that's our cost. And we did receive their first of 3 payments for the project already, so we do, you know, have that security that we do have their funds.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
John Bergen made the motion and John Harper second. Any other questions or discussion? If not, all in agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
Okay, safety committee meeting.
Were there many corrections needed for the hoist at all, now that you got the inspector report back on it?
I haven't gone through with Jason yet. I've been pretty busy, just want to make sure it's not prior to it. There's a ton of stuff.
Just some minor things? Okay.
How many hoists do you have over that hoist?
Well, we actually have a hoist at each one of our collectors. So we have the ring cylinder, plus we have the hoist here in the building for vehicles and such. So, 6.
Is it? Anything else? If not, line superintendent report?
Comment about discussion, bad combination. How about a little discussion so I understand what you're talking about, Josh?
Okay, a combination is a combination of a lightning arrestor and a cutout disconnect. It's a combination is just both of those in one unit. We don't use them anymore. We use a disconnect and an arrestor separately. But these are all porcelain disconnects that break. Pretty common.
Okay. And the other question is, is there anything that we're learning from these weather-related failures?
That we need to do some tree trimming.
That's it.
I mean, the lightning, there's nothing we can do about.
Right.
And the wind, it's just a bad combination right now. The ground is wet as it is. That trees are just falling down.
We're going to have a special commission meeting in the next couple of weeks to address forestry needs. So probably have Roxanne be contacting me about it and a couple other topics. So.
Okay.
Anything else? If not, the water department operations report?
Notice the comment about lead service verification. Some discussion about this. Are we finding more lead services or?
We seem to find some that aren't on our plans and sneak up on us, you know, whether it be through a private citizen having it put on their side, not more but up on our side. So we have a few of them here and there that pop up, but two more than we had in our plan, there still shouldn't be a lot of them.
We've been chipping away at them, right?
Two at a time, we got two more scheduled, hopefully, we got this month replaced, stuff, so keep it up a little bit.
This is also the highest water level that I've seen since I've been on the commission.
Almost artesian.
Artesian, huh? Yeah.
That's,
There's some places south of us here that are definitely artesian. Look to the left or the right on 13 and it's flooded.
Any other questions? If not, customer support supervisor.
I'm offering compliments. Excellent numbers on collections.
Thank you.
Your predecessor was a hard act to follow, and I think you just beat him. 15 commercial properties notified of disconnection. Are there some at risk here that we may lose as customers?
Almost all the customers who are up for disconnect have a deposit. They've had to pay a deposit that they haven't been able to get back because they haven't maintained good standing.
None of the customers that were contacted are significant
No.
consumption, all smaller commercial accounts. So we still extend a hand and a courtesy to personally call them instead of leaving them a voicemail message.
And they all had deposits in hand before they started the business or when they
Correct.
took it over.
Correct.
Or haven't paid on time since, and then that allows us to collect the deposit.
Mhm.
Any other questions? If not, Director of Finance. What do you think, Jim? He's the ultimate Director of Finance.
So obviously, we need to implement the water
Yeah,
rate adjustment, it's obvious.
Yeah.
That should happen at least, hopefully by August, it should move on the 18th of July.
And, well, it looks like electricity must be kind of down, pretty, weather wasn't
I
that
think
drastic.
the weather we've had recently will change that the next couple months. But typically, as Josh said in the report, April usage we're billing for on a May power bill is when the prices spike by demand. So that's kind of the situation on electricity. I don't think consumption's down that much. Water consumption is, but not electricity.
This PCI compliance, Matt, you
Yeah.
work on that, we're in good shape there?
Yeah, there were two issues. The PCI compliance company actually changed ownership, and the new company looks at the PCI compliance regulations a little bit differently. So there's two small issues that we have to address before, I think it's April 2020, which is we're PCI compliant until April 2020. And the two issues are just providing a network diagram, which is simple enough. But they just switched within the last month, and we're just getting to know this new company.
could I ask, what does PCI stand for?
I'd have to look it up. I want to say it's personal credit information, but it's not.
Oh,
It's
okay.
something else. It's strictly to do with credit card purchases.
Okay. I guess I never heard that term before. Of course, this place is loaded with acronyms like that.
Any place that accepts credit cards has heard this at one time or another.
Any other questions, comments? If not,
I think I just wanted to comment that this power adjustment cost is showing fantastic numbers. We had budgeted 950,000, and year-to-date, we're already at 968 favorable.
was ahead of budget again this year, so I would not be surprised in the next couple board meetings that the board discusses a further rate reduction, but
that's all
it's
rate
a long ways
reduction.
away.
That's pretty much.
Because, well, they reduced the rates last year, from the middle
Yep.
of last year to the end of this year, but now the power that we're buying now is coming under what we projected, so I would not be surprised if we got further rate reduction.
It's really excellent. Should probably take a bow, right, Jim?
I don't know about that.
Well, I certainly think that's unheard of in this day and age.
Yeah. Most
Yeah.
of your
You
wholesale
know, other
suppliers
places,
rates
and
are
they're
going
talking
up.
about lower increases.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Good job. Any other questions, comments? If not, Information Systems Administrator?
We're not, as we do this Elster Connexo, we're not getting ourselves tied in so that we have any risk of a SCADA system.
No, there's no risk. This is strictly AMI and billing software that's on. SCADA is completely separate.
More for conveniences and efficiencies, we're not able to use both software systems to do the same thing.
Anything else? Not Conservation Manager report.
Some pretty nice comments from the teachers on your kilowatt kitchen.
It was, third year in a row.
Yeah, fantastic. I was going to ask.
Sounds like that's a catchy little thing that's gonna stick with the kids. Maybe the teachers more so than the kids, but.
Been more attractive since the beginning.
Do we ever get an evaluation from the kids?
No, that would be a teacher's evaluation. That might be something to have them put in that evaluation. We do get little notes that the teachers do send. So I've received some of those, and those are all
Pretty positive.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, I went to
great
one
program.
this year, and it was probably the best one I've seen. I went to one each 3 years, and it keeps getting better and better. I don't know if they get better actors or better script or what, but the students and teachers were laughing, yucking it up. So it's a great concept.
Any other questions? If not, Director of Engineering and Electric Operations report.
I was reading on this power outage. No damage was done to the transformer, but the damaged bus insulation needed to be removed and new insulation applied. A space heater. Some or their space heater didn't sound
Like
too
good idea.
too sophisticated.
Well, and it's a combination space heater and two fans. So what we got there is you have the substation transformers, and then you have what I call a throat that has copper bus in that goes horizontally, then vertically, then back horizontally into the switchgear. We've noticed in the past that in the switchgear compartments, we were having a lot of condensation, so we actually added some venting and some fans and some of these space heaters to keep that out. What we didn't think was this throat area, because of the, way it was made, would have an issue, but it did. And so it started gathering condensation, and that's what actually caused the insulation to fail and the voltage to jump between the phases. So how we corrected that now is we've got a space heater on the bottom with two fans that basically keep the air circulating in the throat to prevent the moisture from accumulating. So it took us about a week to get the insulating material, take the bus out, re-insulate, put it back together with the fans, and everything's back to normal.
Either of those two ends of that bus, is either the buildings heated?
So that building itself is not heated, and so we have a space heater in there that we can turn on if we're working in there in winter to try to get some heat to the building, but normally it is not. Yeah.
Any other questions? If not, the general manager report. Can I ask you, what is your mod? So you talk to United Heartland?
I'll email you that number.
Okay, all right, fine.
An aside, I was found out earlier this week that I've been asked to serve on the Wisconsin Public Utility Institute's board, which is run by the University of Wisconsin. So I need to let them know by the end of the week when I'm leaving the boards, serving only after 4 years a year. I would be the municipal representative. They have all the investor owned and some of the co-ops on the board, and then a lot of faculty.
And what is it, like just a think group or?
Kind of, yeah, and they also have a training regiment that they do several trainings each month for both utility personnel and district professionals.
I would recommend joining that group.
So yeah, I probably will.
Over delegation.
Is any implication for us with this generation unit?
Yeah, it would be, what we determined to do, we have a long ways to go in the decision-making process yet, but yeah, anything we do with respect to the reciprocating engines or the solar would be a new project. But we're talking about doing the solar installations behind the meter, so it'd be done by member systems past the transmission metering that we are from our power suppliers. They're both shave on transmission costs and increase our renewables. So we're either the end of July or August, we should have all the numbers wrapped up and analyzed in our multiple.
Where would that generation station be then? You said.
If we go with the reciprocating engines, they'll either probably be in Manitowoc or Marshfield because the gas supply is already there. And we wouldn't have costs to upgrade it. The solar could be anywhere. It could be hosted by us or Shawano or whatever. We're talking about doing 5 to 10 megawatt, which is pretty good size solar installation behind the meter. So all that's being kicked around right now.
And investment would come from?
Blues, for the east side of Blue would all come from the rate stabilization money that we have there, close to $20 million now. And some of it would probably be financed if we go with reciprocating engine.
have a big enough gas line for what they have on another one too?
Might require a small upgrade, but we're not going back as far on the pipeline as we would if we like tried to put it in Rapids or something.
Any other comments? If there's nothing else, review of accounts payable.
We have this credit card processing fees. Are there additional fees? You know, earlier in the discussion here, we talked about NISC handling those so that we don't have the personal credit information here. Do we also have a fee for their handling of
How
that
does that work?
for us?
I think there is a fee. I'd have to look to see exactly what that is, but I'll check it out and let you know.
Okay.
We have been paying the fees on the credit card charges as a utility because the PSC has not allowed us to rate base that, but that has now changed. So the next time we file an electric rate case, we'll include passing those fees on to the customer card. But at this point, the utility is paying them.
But we may also be paying this fee to NISC.
I think that's part of our monthly package fee for their software, though I don't think it singles out separately, I don't know.
Okay.
I'll have to give it a job.
It is. Sunday, They probably stole it off your roof. Are there any comments on the accounts payable? Should we move on?
Sure.
Would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
So,
Second.
Joe made the motion, John second, all in agreement, you say aye?
Aye.
Thank you.
So is everybody gonna